Shay has tiers of quarterbacks, and we've been going through these over the last couple days, and we want to get your impression of certain quarterbacks. Shay?
Well, the one that created a lot of controversy this morning was I placed Jaden Daniels in the superstar tier, and these two said it's unfair.
And tell him the tiers.
It's wrong.
Yeah, tell him the
tiers.
We
had the superstar tier, the borderline star tier, the project tier, the placeholder tier, and the bum tier.
And he gave, tell him where you put Jalen Hurts.
Borderline star.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. He's a superstar. He won the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl MVP.
Well, I need to know, how selective you are in the top group. Like, is it 4 guys? Because I think I would say there are 4 guys right now that are above everybody. And I think you could probably name them, right?
Well, not to Shay.
I had the top group in sum total was Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Jaden Daniels.
Okay, so I would have 4, and then you have Jaden Daniels as a 5th, which is, I mean, look, like you can look at this both ways, right? Like you can look at it and say it's a presumption, which it is. It's presuming that he's going to take another step. And if he does, then, and if you're trying to project, well, then you could say, yeah, Patrick Mahomes was the MVP of the league in his second year. Lamar Jackson was the MVP of the league in his second year. Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl in his second year. So you could definitely make the case that, if you're going to project Jaden based on year 1, maybe he projects into that group. But I don't know that I would put him in that group based on what he's already accomplished. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But, I have...
So in other words, if you're talking about where they'll be in December and you're projecting him there, I can see it. If you're talking about where they are right now, maybe not as much,
He's got Jalen Hurts like he was Trent Dilfer,
Yeah,
though.
he's got Jalen Hurts is borderline.
He's one group down?
Yeah.
He's
not. He does not belong with those other 4 players. He does not.
But Jaden Daniels I think he's on the come. I don't think that he's at superstar level yet.
I value a Heisman Trophy winner walking into the league and going for 4,400 total yards, 35 touchdowns, 9 picks, and taking a deadbeat team to the NFC title game.
Right, which was their first NFC title game since 91, right? So I'm with you. I think he's been a change agent for without question in Washington, no question about it. It's just that rarefied air. I would be selective with the top group, and I know what you're saying. I know what Kap and Hoodie are saying here, which is it's hard because how selective are you? And you have a guy who just won a Super Bowl, and I think you guys are looking at it in a vacuum, right? Which is how could you have a guy who had a really great rookie year, but it just has 1 year of track record on top of a guy who just won the Super Bowl? Which to me comes back to whether you're projecting or talking about where they are right now.
So Shay, you look at Jalen Hurts like you look at SGA, borderline star, not superstar yet, and they both have rings.
SGA won MVP. I think SGA is a superstar. Jalen Hurts, he was really good for a roster that was immaculately constructed. I can't go superstar for a guy at 2,900 passing yards. And gets used sparingly in an offense that rode through their running back and won the Super Bowl on the back of their elite defense.
I can't see it that way. I can't. I just think that for young players, it's always show me again. And I just want to know and with Jalen Hurts, there's been some consistency there enough for me to put him in superstar status.
So I guess the question is how great does your team need you to be to win a game? Right, and
kind of my criteria.
I think that's the argument against Jalen Hurts is that he has been great at times. How often does the team really need him to be great to win a game? I do think for a rookie, Jaden showed that more, the ability to do that, to be great, when his team needed him to be great to win a game. You saw more of that from Jaden Daniels than we've seen from a rookie in a long time. And I think from that perspective, it's do you think that they had you think that the Commanders, I'm looking it up now, but do you think the Commanders had a dominant run game?
They did not.
No, not at all. running game
right.
was
I mean, like, he was a huge
Jaden
part of it
Daniels.
himself, right? Jaden Daniels was a huge part of it himself.
Yes.
They ranked third in rushing, but they were, but like Jaden rushed for almost 1,000 on his own, And then defensively, I mean, total defense, I'm looking at it now. I mean, they're middle of the pack, so not a bad team, but like, I do think, for the Commanders to be who the Commanders were, they needed the quarterback to be really good. And against all odds, the rookie was able to be that for them, if that makes sense.
Is this good enough to be a quick hitters for the next column?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Wait a second.
Where would you put Caleb Williams? Project or borderline star?
Project right now. I mean, I like a lot of what we've seen from him, but it's just hard to. I mean, again, like I've done these lists before, and they're such a pain in the ass because it's like you look at it, it's like, well, I really like this guy, but can I? And it's doing the same thing you guys are doing. You know what I mean? Like, which is like, all right, like I really like where Caleb Williams is going, and then you look at it, it's like, but can I put him in front of? I don't know, throw a name out there. You know what I mean? Justin Herbert, or is it fair to put him in front of Bo Nix after the rookie year Bo Nix had? I just, that's where it can get sticky, So how big is that borderline star group versus the project group? I think that's really, that's really the question is how big these groups are. How many people do you have in the borderline star group?
I can't give you an exact number off the top of my head, but it was the busiest group of the bunch.
So you had because I'm here, that's why I write these things down. Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Purdy, Jared Goff, Jaden, or I think that's it. Love, Baker, Purdy.
Where was Herbert?
And Jared Goff.
I had Herbert and borderline star. So the full borderline star grouping is Stroud, Herbert, Nix, Hurts, Prescott, Goff, Love, Mayfield, Stafford, Murray, and Purdy. I bumped Murray.
That's a big group. Yeah, that's a big group. I mean, would you put Caleb over any of those guys right now?
No, he's a project. He's with Penix. What do you have here? Bryce Young. You had we had Bo Nix, May, and Cam Ward. Didn't you?
Yeah.
Shay. Yeah.
Well, I think the piece of it. I think the piece of it that's that's interesting to me at least is how it's with the rookie quarterbacks from last year. We're talking about guys who have very different backgrounds, right? Like, so Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix played a ton of football in college. Both of them were 5-year guys. Both of them were multi-year starters at multiple schools. And then you've got guys like Caleb and Drake May and J.J. McCarthy who didn't have near that experience. So, like, how did that help them out in year one? Does that start to flatten out as the other guys get more experience? We'll see.
All right, I got another question for you away from the tiers list. I watched Joe Burrow at a baseball thing for Fanatics try and throw a baseball, and he literally looked like my grandmother who died in 1995. I mean, it was embarrassing. How can these guys be elite as a quarterback where you got to throw a football and look so unbelievably unathletic with a baseball in their hand?
That's interesting. I haven't seen that video. I'm a little surprised by that. Joe Burrow was like an all-state basketball player too.
Oh, you got to pull it up. You won't believe it.
We'll send it to Al.
Yeah. I mean, he was a great high school basketball player too. So like, I'm a little bit surprised by that. Especially now, like it used to be. I mean, when we were kids, like I remember being taught like how you throw a football isn't the same as how you throw a baseball. And now like the science has gotten closer to like where they are the same. Like, Tom House out in California has how many starting quarterbacks working with him?
Yep.
And he taught that the motion's the same. If you guys remember, like remember Nolan Ryan would warm up in the outfield throwing a football back in the day, and Tom House was part of that pitching staff, so he saw it. And like, I'm surprised that I'm surprised that Joe would look bad. I'm gonna look at it right now so you guys can get my live reaction. How about that?
Yeah, you got to see it. You have to see it. Last thing I have for you, everybody's kind of on shutdown mode right now in the NFL. They get a vacation, and Caleb's been out partying at Summer Smash, and all of this is going on. Are there any roster moves you see coming here that we turn toward July?
Ooh, sorry, I just saw it. Ooh.
Doesn't it
more than one, too.
Horrible.
More than one.
Yes.
I mean, so he doesn't know how to release it, kind of, right? Like, so you can see but he's starting to work at it. Like, I think it eventually would come around. Like, it's getting closer. I'm on 4 pitches now.
Yeah.
I think, it's not great. So I would say, like, really, like, what we're looking at from here, as much as anything else, is the contract extensions and how those talks go. So, Micah Parsons in Dallas, Terry McLaurin in Washington, Trey Hendrickson is an obvious one. That's sort of what you'd be looking at, and like how sideways or straightened out those situations get ahead of training camp. I think that's the big thing. But no, I mean, like, for the next couple of weeks, it should be pretty quiet. I mean, barring, again, I think I say this to you guys every year, barring somebody blowing their hand off with fireworks, I think we're okay for the next couple of weeks.
All right, let's keep everybody safe. You have a great day, and we really appreciate you. Football around the corner.